first one we have is a porterhouse. That's Scotch beef, and it's one side sirloin, one side is fillet. That's a 36 ounce porterhouse. We sell that for 2 people to share. We also do a 22 ounce T-bone steak, which is slightly smaller, same cut. The biggest difference is the porterhouse will be the first 2 or 3 cuts off the roast, where you get a bigger piece of fillet like this.
Okay.
As it goes down and the fillet gets smaller,
Yep.
you become a smaller piece of fillet, same size as sirloin. That's your T-bone. So you maybe out of each roast you'll get a couple, maybe 2 or 3 porterhouse steaks,
Yep.
then a few T-bone steaks.
And so this bone here, is this the cut through the rib?
Yeah,
Is
that's,
that the
that's
rib?
your
Okay.
That's your T-bone. It is a T-bone steak. It's the same.
Yeah.
It's exactly the same.
So this has come off. This is essentially the backbone, and these are the ribs which have come down. Is that the?
Yeah.
Okay. And so then so how would that differ from a chateaubriand? The chateaubriand is.
The chateaubriand is the fillet. That's this here. That's the difference. The chateaubriand is the fillet. That's the fillet. That's the sirloin.
Yeah.
So the sirloin runs along the top.
Yeah.
The fillet runs along the bottom of the rib,
Yeah.
between the ribs. So if you imagine, that's your backbone. That's your rib bone. This sits on the cow's back.
Yeah.
That sits inside underneath the rib, inside the carcass.
And if you were to take that out, that's a strip of about 5 foot long, something like
The
that.
sirloin is about, maybe about that, maybe about 2-3 foot.
Yeah.
And then it goes on to the rib at one side and the rump at the other side. The fillet is underneath,
Right.
inside the carcass, if you can.
Yeah.
And that will run probably not the full length, but maybe about there. That's probably about the fillet. So that's the chateaubriand. That's the head of the fillet, and then it goes down, like all the way down to the tail. The tail thins out. So we've cut an 8 ounce fillet steak off the fillet. Very, very popular. Very, very lean.
Yeah.
Beautiful steak.
And so that, and also it's got a very different texture, doesn't it? If
Yeah.
it's
There's no fat on it. Very little marbling. And it is a very popular steak, and that is part of the whole fillet. We also sell the fillet mignon, which is the tail where it tapers out. It's kind of misshaped, but we sell that as a 7 ounce fillet mignon. So that's all your fillet cuts and the fillet off of the porterhouse or T-bone.
Yeah.
We then have just a sirloin. That's a 10 ounce Scotch sirloin.
Yeah.
Same cut that we have here. This is off the bone. This is probably our most popular steak, that 8 and 10 ounce.
So that's got. I mean, again, that's fairly lean. I mean, it's got the nice sort of bits of marbling here and here, and then presumably the fat is from the top. That sort of renders down a bit.
Exactly the same stuff. And that's all the Scotch. That's all the Scotch stuff. And we sell, like I say, the porterhouse, the T-bone, the fillet mignon, the chateaubriand.
Yeah.
That is just pure lean meat. We sell that for 2 people to share, and the sirloin we sell as an 8 or a 10 or a 12 ounce steak. We also do a few different steaks. Before we go on to them, we do a ribeye on the bone, which is this. That's an absolute beautiful steak. That's a Scotch steak as well.
And it's called ribeye because it's got the IF. Is that right?
It's got the rib on it.
Yeah.
A lot of people know it more as a côte de boeuf.
Yeah.
It's not quite as big with an individual bone, but that's this piece of meat that goes round them. That's very, very tasty. And that comes off one end of the sirloin. It goes onto the rib. The other end goes on it.
And would that be, if that was sort of 2 or 3 bones, that would be your classic rib roast then?
Yep.
That's
Exactly the same. Okay, and then just to show you the difference, we have a USDA ribeye. A Wagyu ribeye. It's a Wagyu ribeye. It's a grade 4 to 5, and it's Australian. And you can tell the difference with the amount of marble and fat that's in there. It's more expensive. The grading on the Wagyu goes up from 4 to 5 is the lowest grade. Then I think you get 6 to 7, and then 9 plus, and it becomes more and more expensive,
Yeah.
the higher the
Yeah.
grade, the more the marbling fat.
And the marbling fat gives it flavour. It helps transmit the flavour. It helps
that's
carry
where
flavour.
all the flavour is in the fat. That goes into the meat. There's the meat itself without the fat can be pretty tasteless.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
really need the fat. That's where all the flavour is. That's a little bit more popular. We used to sell a Wagyu fillet steak, and for me, the Scotch was better.
Well, yeah, I mean, a Wagyu fillet is not just almost too fatty. It's good because you've got very tender meat with fat. It's going to be a bit almost oily. Yeah.
So the ribeye lends itself to having a bit more fat through it. So that's a much nicer steak.
Do you have to cook that very? I mean, if it's that fatty, presumably you want to cook it quickly so the fat renders, but it stays in there, and you have to be a bit sharp about it.
Yeah. What we do is we take them out the chiller and we set them at room temperature for about 10-15 minutes until the customers have their starters, and then we'll cook them, or we'll set them under warm lamps just to take the chill off them, and then it takes less cooking.
Yeah.
But people eat this rare or blue. For me, medium. And I'll eat a fillet steak rare, I'll eat carpaccio, I don't mind wrong.
Yeah.
But you want to cook that fat to get the flavour. And then we have USDA sirloin. And again, you can't see too much of a difference. You can see there's a little bit more marbling compared to the Scotch one. But the biggest difference is in the taste.
You're saying the flavour's fuller, or it's richer?
It's richer, certainly richer. More kind of creamy, fatter flavour coming off the meat when you eat it.
But for you, Scotch is definitely it's your favourite.
Scotch is a winner every time.